fingers.
Butt fingers. Do it one more time. For
Butt
me.
fingers. I've got butt fingers. You want the butt fingers? But booty fingers. You like that, babe?
That was pretty good. You kind of lost it at the end, I felt like, but overall it was good.
Yeah. All of the directors I've ever had in any acting situation have always been like, you trail off at the end.
Wait, is that true?
Yes.
Really? People have told you this.
Yeah, like directors in plays and stuff. They're like, oh yeah, you have great projection. You know how to be loud. You know how to address an audience. Maybe they didn't say that last part, but they definitely
you trail off at the end.
Yes.
you know how to be loud. You know how to address an audience, but you trail off.
She trails.
Well, shit. Now I feel bad. I wouldn't have said that if I had known.
Yeah, it's a sore topic for me.
Like, you have like a deep-seated history of people telling you trail off.
I'm just never good enough.
I get told I mumble a lot.
You do.
Yeah.
Talk quiet anyway.
I'm soft-spoken.
Yeah, I think that's
the word.
I think it's less of a mumble and more of a hi.
Yeah.
Instead of a hey.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I don't have a middle ground. Either I'm very soft-spoken or people feel like I'm yelling. So, anyway.
Hello.
What did we say we were going to talk about? Marriage?
Yeah.
I say
we should introduce the podcast and us first.
All right. Well, you want to do it?
Yeah.
All right.
You're listening to Conversations with the Rhineharts.
I was going to say Ryan farts, but
Oh.
just because I think it's funny.
Was that in the script? I didn't
You
approve
don't-
any changes.
Yeah, my bad. Didn't get it to the director early enough, I guess. Or, I don't know. The head script supervisor? Is that who it would be?
I don't know, but they would say that I'm trailing off.
Yeah. Well, we've covered that for sure.
So that's what I know. My name is Ashley, and this is my fabulous, handsome, beautiful man candy Reese.
A lot of compliments for me.
Love you.
Well, love you too. Thank you.
We're the Rhineharts, by the way.
Soon to be. You're a tribe. It's
I
not
am.
spelled the way anyone thinks it is. But it's pronounced tribe.
I'm told it's Hungarian. I'm a quarter Hungarian.
I think I've been told what it was once by your mom, but
It's my grandpa's last name. He's full-blooded, so.
Or yeah, it's your grandpa on your dad's side, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not even thinking of the right side of the family.
Super funny off of this.
Off of what?
Well, I was going to say the screen.
Oh.
If you're listening to this, we are also recording a video that we're going to put on YouTube.
Yeah.
So if you would rather watch us than listen to us, maybe give that a shot.
We're pretty ugly, so, brace yourselves.
Just speak for yourself.
I just want to set the bar low so no one's upset.
Everyone comes in. Oh, they're actually like average looking.
Yeah. Oh, you guys are all right. Whatever.
Yeah. Like a 6 out of 10.
Not the ugliest people I've seen.
You know, I've seen worse. Anyway, so our...
Can you name them? Just out of curiosity. No. You don't have to. Don't feel pressured.
I feel like I would totally... Someone would have this name and they'd be like, that's me. Even though we don't know them.
Oh, well, 100%. It's probably... There's only so many names.
You know. There are.
So, probably, yeah, someone will have it. Especially if it's, like, common at all. Like a Sarah. How many Sarahs are there in the world?
You know, I get mistaken for a Sarah constantly.
What do you mean you get mistaken for? Like, people just assume your name is Sarah because of the way you look?
I have one of those average white girl faces. And they say, wow, she looks like a Sarah. I don't really know what people think when they say that, but I do. There have been people who have looked similar. Like, we've had the same kind of coloring. Different, completely height and coloring, but different, completely different looking. Anyway, I was going to say that our sweet eldest dog, who's only 2 years
Oh,
old,
yeah.
was laying on the couch and a pillow fell on her, and now she is laying off the couch asleep. Like her head is completely off. She's sleeping.
I was like, she does look just straight up stupid right now. I don't know what's going on.
She's pretty cute.
She's all right.
Okay.
So we were going to talk about...
Marriage.
Yeah, I think before we talk about marriage, we should just recap our relationship up to this point, because we're not married. So
we aren't.
Don't get it twisted. We like to just think we know everything.
Well,
we're soon to be married.
This is true. So do you want to start at the beginning?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
So I was born September the 7th. I'm totally kidding. I was born then. I'm a Virgo, but
yeah, she's not really kidding. And then what happened?
So I had recently moved to Oregon. I actually, one of those boomerang children who left the coop and then went back.
Okay, I was about to say, what can you
technical
define
term?
That?
Yeah.
I thought I knew what it was, but I never know.
Yeah. So I don't know if it's a boomerang child or a boomerang kid.
I think at that point it's semantics.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You were a boomerang person.
Let's not put labels on it.
Yeah.
We're all humans. I'm just a boomerang.
Yeah.
So I did that. I was running a coffee shop / brand, and then I was like, a quarter life crisis. What am I doing with my life? I'm freaking out. And then my parents were like, come stay with us. It's a safe place. And I was like, I was living at the South in the South at the time. And, as much as I love the South, I wasn't in love with it.
In the South, in Louisiana.
Yes.
I don't know. People might be curious, right? The South seems kind of broad.
I lived in central Louisiana, not even one of the fun southern parts.
What? Wait, what? Not even one of the fun parts?
Like, I didn't live in Baton Rouge or New Orleans.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not one of the famous parts, I guess.
Okay. You couldn't go on one of those boat rides.
Swamp ones?
Yeah.
With, like, the boat fan
Oh, my gosh,
thing?
yeah. What is it called? I'm totally brain farting over this.
We used to call them, like, hovercrafts, because that's basically what
That's
they were.
hilarious.
Yeah. Shit, I don't know what they're called.
Ah, man.
Swamp boats.
We'll just call it that, because we're not going to mention it again after this.
This is called my swamper. I don't know. They probably have, like, some colloquial local term for it.
They do. And
what
like,
do
if
they
you
call it?
Well, I can't remember.
Oh, okay.
That's it. It's like you go on the websites, and if you want to go on a tour, it's like expensive. Well, I mean, it's not like expensive like going to the Space Needle, but it's like,
You want to go see my swamp? $200.
I mean, you have to book it with 4 people minimum, and I think there's 4 people maximum too.
They're just trying to get their money's worth.
Yeah.
Probably not worth driving if you only get 3 people.
Well, and then it's like you have to go down south to where like the actual like
swamp is.
Yeah.
Is the swamp only in the south?
Yeah, so like the whole of Louisiana is basically the swamp, but the swamp where, it's like classic swamp is like where the ocean kind of runs in. So you go over, when you're going through like Baton Rouge, you go like over this bridge. You go over
a bridge.
Lake Pontchartrain.
Yeah. Do they call it Bridgetown like they call it?
No. I'm getting really off topic here.
I know. I totally derailed this conversation by just asking.
Let's just talk about my Louisiana life. Just kidding. Let's not do that.
I'm down. What it is called conversations, right? We're having a conversation.
That's true. That's 100%.
Sorry for being interested in what you had to say. I fucking take it all back.
That's so sweet. Thanks, babe.
I try. At least on camera,
Otherwise, it's just like,
yeah.
Who are you? Get out of my house. So anyway, I moved in with my parents and
Boomerang child.
And
Sorry,
then
person.
thank you. Better recognize. And then I was like, okay, cool. So I started going back to school, full time online. I was still going to the same school that I started at in Louisiana. And then things kind of just took off from there.
Sorry, I'm laughing at Riv. I could hear her shaking a little bit in the headphones.
Do you want to say what you did up until that point where you moved to Oregon?
Yeah, like how I wound up in Oregon.
Yeah. We can just take turns going like piecemeal.
To summarize, I joined the Navy at 20, went wherever they told me to for 5 years, which was Hawaii and Washington, and then got out while I was in Washington, and I signed up for AmeriCorps through Vets Work, which is actually... Hazel, what's your issue? She's like, I've heard this story a million times. It's not fucking interesting.
I'm over here just like, shh.
Yeah.
Like holding up my finger to my mouth like a goober. Hi, baby.
Will you take their harnesses off while they're over there?
They hate their harnesses. Well, hang on. You'll have your turn.
Anyway, AmeriCorps through Vets Work, which is actually a really cool program. They take veterans. It's only for veterans. And they try to place them into public lands jobs. So it's like they're trying to fill a need because like the public lands, people don't have enough people to get all the work done because it's just too much.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're trying to help veterans get into like fulfilling careers after the military. My experience was cool, but whatever, neither here nor there. It was in Ukiah, Oregon, which is in eastern Oregon and is one road basically and no stoplights or anything like that. And it I think in peak season, like peak hunting seasons in the summer, maybe they have like about 200 people live there. So I was out there. That's an hour away from LeGrand. We met via Tinder.
Yeah.
The old swipe-a-roo.
So you want to tell them your opener? Because
What do you mean?
Your
What I
opener.
told you on Tinder, you mean?
Yeah. The first line.
I said, you look a lot like my next girlfriend. And it worked, I guess, because here we are. Now you're not even my girlfriend. You're my fiance. I make sure to say it most of the time. Yeah, no, it's fiance for sure. It's got the little apostrophe thing.
I'm just being a goober. Just yeah.
Sorry, I took 2 semesters of French, so how dare you?
Do you remember what I said in return?
Oh, man.
This is the test.
Yeah, let me think. Oh, you said jump into an online relationship or something before I've even met the person, and then you're like, that sounds like me.
Yeah, I did say
and
that.
then we made plans like 2 weeks in advance, and I was like, this chick's not showing up. I was like, she's gonna flake out for sure.
He went on 2 dates before we went on one, and we were supposed to watch a movie together. And
we had never even met, though.
I know, but he watched it with another woman.
And then we wound up never watching it.
Yeah, because it was out of theaters.
Yeah,
then.
and it was Get Out. Yeah, just to be clear, I really wanted to see it because I had seen
no,
it wasn't Get Out. It was the second one.
Yeah.
What's the second one called?
Well, I don't know. You're the one who saw it.
Yeah, and I can't even remember. It was good though. I actually liked it more than Get Out. Anyway, it was that movie, the second Jordan Peele one. I can't remember. Us, I think is what it was called.
Oh.
It's not a reflection on the movie that I can't remember the name because it was really good. I thought it was better. Honestly, I thought it was better than Get Out. And I really wanted to see it. I don't know. I had seen the first one. And I thought you were going to flake out. Literally, the people of Tinder, I would say the people of Tinder, the people of Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, and OfferUp. Flakiest people in the entire world, dude. They do not give a shit about anyone. They suck. So I just kind of... I thought you were going to flake out, and then you didn't.
I did. I am a very busy person.
Yeah. And
I had plans for 2 weeks.
Mostly like working and improv, or maybe not. Yeah, improv.
So
you were doing improv when I met you, right?
Right. Something about me is I have directed 2 different improv troupes, and in that being that they are in like smaller towns, I have taught improv a lot, but I am not like certified to train people how to do improv. Is anyone
certified in improv,
you know,
dude? Are the dudes on Whose Line Is It Anyway like, here's my cert?
Well, it's like people nowadays, they're like, oh yeah, I went to XY improv school and did like these classes. And I'm like, that was a waste of your money. You should just read a book or five.
No one in LeGrand was saying I went to these classes.
No, but the thing about LeGrand is, and
it's
this
great.
is...
I love LeGrand.
Yeah. It's like a very artsy town. I miss it too. You know, it doesn't have a lot of like growth potential. Someone needs to come in with a lot of money and like kind of help it out, but
I disagree. I think it's coming. I think LeGrand is gonna blow up because Oregon is blowing up.
Yeah. Okay.
People love it here.
Let me rephrase.
All right.
I had to burp.
Just real quick, we live nearest to Portland in Oregon, and I think people love Oregon in general, and I think people just continue to discover like parts of it, and I think Eastern Oregon is part of that.
Sure.
I think it'll blow up.
So what I mean by what I said is, you know, there's not any real industry in LeGrand. There's like some lumber plants. So if you want to do, you know, lumber yard work, work green chain, that kind of situation, perfect place for you.
They got Grand Round Hospital. They don't have like a lot of places.
There's no doctors in LeGrand.
Well, they got a whole ass hospital there. There's got to be a couple that work there.
So my parents live there. They can never get an appointment with a doctor.
Oh, that's like a different type of doctor,
well,
though.
Like a doctor, not a nurse practitioner. There's tons of nurse practitioners.
No, I just mean like that'd be like a general practice they're trying to get appointments with, right? They're not trying to go to like the hospital for like the ER or like the urgent care or anything like that, right?
My point stands. They can't get an appointment with an actual doctor. They can only get an appointment with a nurse practitioner, which, as someone who understands a little bit about the medical field, like, well, okay, let me rephrase this. I know like a little bit. I know enough to know that Can
we get your medical field background real quick?
I have read Wikipedia. Just one page, though, and it had nothing to do with...
As someone who knows a little bit about the medical field.
Okay, so Reese is a medic. Well, not a medic. Was a medic.
Reese was a hospital corpsman, which is like the Navy's version of a medic.
So...
For a while.
You can correct me if I'm wrong here.
Our medicine is not the same as normal people's medicine.
Well, hang on.
Yeah.
Also, super funny. He can deal with bullet wounds and knife stabs, but eyes weirds him out. Whenever I touch my contacts, you're like, ugh.
Well, it doesn't. It's not so much you touching them it's weird to me because like you can see the contact. Anyone that wears contacts or anyone that's dated anyone with contacts, like you can see it moving around like an eyelid. It's like a false eyelid. Or not eyelid.
It's my frog lid.
It's like a false eye lens is what I mean, not eyelid.
Yes, I understand.
But you can totally see it, and it's like oh, that's not normal, you know? It's not that it grosses me out. I will say I cannot put stuff into my own eyes. So like eye drops or like trying to get something out of my eye, put my finger in my eye, like I just hate it.
So like I said, can't really do eyes.
Yeah.
I just think it's so funny because you're like, oh yeah, totally desensitized, and you're like, oh, but eyes, can't do it. My point being,
your parents can't get an appointment.
Well,
with a
no, I
real
was going
doctor.
to say, I think that nurse practitioners have to get like certified. They have to like get recertified more often than doctors do, and so like
I actually don't know the answer to that.
I had heard that once. I feel like, you know, yes, doctors go to medical school. They pay a lot of money. They do their residency. They do their actual, like, pre-med. They do actual medical school.
Yeah.
I get it. I understand that registered nurses are just, like, BSN nurses who do that. And then nurse practitioners. What's the difference between a nurse practitioner and like a PA, a physician's assistant?
Mostly, so treatment-wise, mostly nothing. They do the same job. So just like a little quick, super boring history that probably no one gives a shit about.
Just do the quick version.
PAs and nurse practitioners are jobs that showed up to fulfill a role of... There's a lot of underserved communities in America and honestly probably in the world, but I know at least in America.
One of them being LeGrand, Oregon.
Yeah, like rural communities or like deep inner city communities where like people don't want to live. You know, like people go to PA school, they're like, I want to live in the burbs and whatever. Point being, it's like an intermediary position, and you basically have... I don't want to say basically have, but you have almost all of the, they call it your scope of practice. So like what you can do is almost the equivalent of a doctor, but you have to work under a licensed doctor and they have to like sign off. So like when I worked with PAs as a civilian, I was like a scribe or whatever. Like PAs would do treatment and do all their notes, and then a doctor had to look through them and like sign them off and be like, yep, these are good. But treatment-wise, between a PA and a nurse practitioner, almost nothing, because they fulfill the same role. Practicality-wise, nurse practitioners are normally like people that are like, they're nurses, and then they go to nurse practitioner school. People that go to PA school, a lot of times they're like straight out of undergrad or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So there is that. And I will say this, all the MPs and PAs I met were like, I should have just been a doctor. Which I thought was funny. They were all in like a lot of debt.
It's like once you have a little bit, it's like, why not just...
Well, and some of these people like take out loans for like all of undergrad and then all of PA school, which is like 2 years. So that's like 6 years of school, you know? So like I knew a lady that was like, oh yeah, I make like 90 grand or whatever it was, you know, like a year. She was like $300,000 in debt. So it's like... You know, and she's got to pay to live. It's not like she lives for free. So
I know people who have like 70 grand in debt who just got like a regular undergraduate degree.
Well,
that's
not
pretty
even common, I think, right? For like just because of how expensive school is.
No,
maybe not 70 grand, but like a fair amount of debt.
I think that it cost me less than 25 grand to get an undergraduate degree. Which
you went to Louisiana State though, right?
Yes.
So it's state school. Which
okay,
I think helps.
Whatever. I'm just saying, like... Okay, we're not even talking about the healthcare system right now. We're talking about
You asked me what the difference was between NP and PA. And
I'm
just
aware.
giving you what I know. We are totally off topic, but I think it's fun. I'm having a good conversation. It's a conversation.
With the Rhineharts.
Yeah, and we apparently can't focus. I don't know.
Okay,
Sue me.
Anyway.
Your parents only see a nurse practitioner.
That wasn't even... Yes, but before that.
Before that.
Okay, so...
We met in LeGrand, Oregon.
And we went to go see a movie. And that movie was Pet Sematary.
Yeah, it was. Holy shit. Oh, yeah. It was like the new Pet Cemetery, not the old one. It was the new one when it came out.
I should just go ahead and say... I met you at one of the bars.
Yeah, we had drinks beforehand.
We had beers, yeah.
It was at the sports bar, too, which is, like, the worst bar, I think, in LeGrand.
You know, as far as the classiness of it, it's, it ranks number 3 in my opinion.
Yeah, I think Long Branch is less classy, but I think the sports bar is just, like, a worse experience.
No one's going to know what we're talking about. It's totally fine.
Yeah, I don't... You're listening to our conversation, okay?
Anyway, so we met there, and then we had a beer or two.
Yeah.
I think I bought the beers since you drove. And
I think
then
you did, yeah.
I think you bought the tickets.
For the movie.
And then I got...
And then we had like a couple more drinks after the movie.
Well, I got popcorn, you got candy at the movie. I don't remember who paid for that. And then we went to a brewery and had a couple more beers after the movie. We just didn't want to stop hanging out.
Basically, it was the best first date either one of us have ever been on. We both said that, I think, during it, right?
Yeah.
It was like, imagine a movie, right, that has a first date scene, and it really did feel mostly like that.
Yeah.
We almost got arrested.
So I'm
By a
getting to
cop?
that. Hold on.
Oh, okay.
And like, I will go ahead and just put this out here.
I fucking
like,
love this story. This is my favorite story.
we're talking about, okay, because like after we went to the brewery, we also went to a bar and then we had more beers. However, like we met at like 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and it was like we had to leave the bar because it was after 2 a.m. and they close at 4. So
also, neither one of us is what I would call a lightweight in the drinking category. So we were just kind of chilling, having a good time. You know, we weren't like. Neither one of us was like blackout drunk or like slurring our words or nothing.
I think that I was like a little.
We were definitely tipsy. Yeah. We were tipsy, bearing on like drunk, but not like embarrass yourself drunk. You know what I'm saying?
I think that
blackout drunk. We weren't there.
Yeah. No, and like even to just like add to it, I don't think that we were so drunk that it was like we would have blown illegal.
I mean, I wouldn't know.
Right after the movie when we went and got the beers.
Oh, probably. But bear in mind, we were walking around for like this entire day. It's not like we were driving. You know, LeGrand's small, so we like got had beers, food. Walked to a movie, like walked to food, walked to more beers. Like, it's not like we were driving around a city or something. We were walking around. We were walking around the
same 2 blocks. Yeah. But just to clarify, so no one thinks that we're like awful people. And then,
I mean, don't get it twisted.
We are.
Yeah. We are terrible for sure, but
okay, point being that we almost got arrested. And so here's the story. Part. Here's the story. Oh my gosh. This is like kind of embarrassing. But it is what it is.
I think it's hysterical. People love this story. Do you remember when we went to whatever night it was with some of the people that we know here, and we told the story and everyone would just listen? They were just enraptured. They're like, wow,
it's so cute. Oh, funny.
I love this story. I think it's entertaining.
It's like kind of embarrassing, but like, you know, we're here, you know, we
it's like not top 10 embarrassing moments, you know, for me. So
it's okay. So it's like top 50 for me.
That's fair. But like, I had treat yourself day. So like, what's talking to a cop on a first date?
We'll get into that later on.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
Anyway, we decide it's like 3:30 in the morning. Okay, the bar's about to close. We're like, we can't be here until the bar closes.
But we don't want to go home.
Yeah. So.
And we don't, you know, necessarily want to endanger anyone by driving.
Right. So we're just like letting the alcohol settle, just getting a little. Both of the dogs are playing with a toy. So if you hear anything, that's what's happening.
Yeah, if you hear them chewing or whatever, that's them.
They are chewing.
What are those bones called?
Those are like...
Nyla bones.
No, those are Benny bones.
Oh, my bad.
I don't know if like they're really... They're border collies, so they love to chew.
They just have a lot of energy.
They have a ton... Yeah,
anyway,
so
we're getting off topic. They're chewing. Sorry if you hear it.
But also, there are children.
Yeah, there are dogs. So, like,
it is what it is.
Deal with it, I guess. Yeah.
Click off.
Yeah. Listen to some other shit that you like more. I don't know, dude.
Okay, so we're in Reese's Subaru, and I'm in the passenger seat, and he puts on some music, and then he just climbs over to my side and starts kissing me.
We got after it. We had kissed before this.
Don't even.
We had kissed before this. I want to point out as well. We had kissed in the bar, and then we had kissed before we got in the car.
Yeah, you kissed me on the way to forgetting where the bathroom is.
Yeah.
I remember.
Point being, we were in the car. I climbed on top of you.
Clothing stayed on and everything, but we were kissing for not very long.
Some light pawing. Over the clothes, of course.
There was nothing more than just a little kiss.
Yeah.
You just happened to be in my seat.
Yeah, fair.
I was very taken aback. So my favorite part of this is a cop comes up. He like pulls up and parks behind your car, and he comes around to the window. And by the way, we seen him.
Yeah.
We seen him.
We knew he was there for us.
And he comes around to the driver's side window, and Reese looks at him, knocking on the window, waving. From my seat, makes no effort to try to act cool like nothing's happening.
He knew what we were up to. What did he say? You remember?
He said, well, I mean, and I'm going to tell you this. We were not going to do anything more than kiss that night.
No, dude, we were just getting hot and heavy, making some steam for the windows. It's not like we were literally just making out like fucking high schoolers or something, you know?
Yeah.
We just didn't have anywhere to go. Like, I had a crazy roommate. You were living with your parents.
My parents.
Yeah, like. Yeah.
So he goes, whatever you're about to do, don't do it.
Yeah, that's exactly what he said. I do remember. Oh my God, dude.
And that's that.
Yeah.
So that was
our
first date.
And then he just let us go.
Yep.
Yep. And so we drove up and we looked at some stars, right? Mm-hmm. And then we finally got you back to your house, and I think I slept in my car somewhere.
It was really late. I want to say it was like 6 a.m. or something like that.
Yeah, it was crazy late.
Yeah.
And I was kind of used to sleeping in my car because that's what I was doing before I wound up in Ukiah. So.
Yeah. So that was our first date, and then like within a week, Reese was like,
"It wasn't I think it was 2 weeks, because it was within like a couple of dates. It was like a few, like 3 at least." And we didn't see each other every day or nothing when we first started.
Right.
So.
We saw each other like once
a week. Yeah. It's an hour drive. I was working. You were working. Like, it was hard to work.
Back to what I was saying.
Yeah. Within a short amount of time, Reese was like,
so I have plans to not stay here after I get done. Yeah. Because he was doing AmeriCorps, so I was like...
Well, I knew I had a time limit. I knew my thing was only 9 months. And
right, so he's like, so after 9 months, like, I'm gonna move. Yeah. And I don't want to be in this relationship if you're not planning on doing that with me.
That's not how I said it.
Yeah, but that was the...
That's not at all what I said,
That was the vibe. Go ahead and retell it then.
That's not what I said. I did say, like, hey, I'm leaving when my thing ends, and it's going to be up in 9 months. Because, like I said, I had a time limit. You know? I coming from the military, like, I'm used to, like, yeah, you're going to move in this amount of time. And, like, I was just trying to be upfront.
Yes. So what did you say?
So I was like, all right, so I'm going to have to leave. And then I asked, I was like, is that something you'd be down to do? Like, would you be down to move together whenever this is up? It was a legitimate question. I was just trying to explain, like, where I was coming from and then honestly get your opinion. Like, would you be down to clown? Because that's like a big, like, in this day and age, dude, people will date like 6 years and not live together. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was a big ask for sure. But I knew it was going to happen, and I'd rather have the conversation when we first start dating than like 6 months down the line. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. And my response, by the way, was,
well, shit, here we are. So
yeah, I mean, if we're still together, totally.
That's if we're still together, which was not like super reassuring, but here we are. We made it. Well, and I'll say this too: we moved, and it was just us, and like.
That was hard.
Shit was not easy, dude.
That was super
like
hard.
Shit. We were both kind of like coming from our own places, our own lives, our own backgrounds, and all this, and like it's hard to. And then we moved. We literally know no one here. We didn't know a single soul. We have zero family like in the area.
I should just go ahead and say this. We started dating in April. We moved that same November.
Yeah.
Like we moved the same week
early
as
April.
Thanksgiving.
Early April.
April 12th.
And I'd already met your parents, and you'd already met mine.
This is the truth.
And like
he met my parents on Memorial Day weekend, and he stayed there. My parents were like, "Military boy, hey, you could stay with us."
Well,
not really.
Me and your dad are like, I want to say we're like friends, but I don't want to speak for your dad. But like, we get along really well.
My dad loves you.
Yeah, and I like your dad. I think he plays PUBG Mobile, which like I don't even play, but I think it's cool that he plays it. He grills so much that his fucking thing talks to his iPad and like.
Yeah, he has all of the gadget, like
watches YouTube and just.
He's on Reddit.
Yeah, he's like a very hip. I don't know. He's like 50 something.
He's well read.
How old he is.
He's like
he's just very with it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I
Like
love my dad,
he's
yeah.
more with it than I am, honestly.
He's where I get my shining personality from.
But yeah, I'd met your parents and like you'd met my parents and we'd done all that stuff, you know. And like we were basically like, this is it, like make or break, ride or die, here we go.
And we did, and we're here.
And here we are, still riding, dude. Not dead yet, so.
Because he's not dead yet.
I don't know, it worked out.
So along the way, River was his dog from before we became a couple, and then we got Hazel, and I've gone through a couple of jobs. You know, I graduated college.
You've done a lot.
Yeah.
You've done probably more than I have, but I think we've grown a lot, like just together.
Right.
We've experienced a lot of life.
And you had an associate's degree, and then so you're working on your bachelor's now.
Yeah.
And you're doing research this summer.
Yeah, and I'm psyched about it.
And it's funded.
I love it so much.
By the way. Yeah, it's exciting. We have all these goals and plans. Oh, I guess I should tell everyone the engagement story. I'm like just totally like bulldozing past it. So last August.
Yeah. So we met in LeGrand. We hit it off. We met each other's parents. We like basically rushed through everything because we knew we had a time limit. And we were like, ride or die, make or break. Wound up out here, and we did. We've made so far.
Together,
yeah, we've made it so far, and we're still riding. And then, we got engaged.
And so here's the story.
Can I say real quick before we tell the story?
Sure.
I never wanted to be married before I met you. I used to preach I would never get married to anyone, and like, then we met, and it was like a different thing. It was just yeah. Anyway, it was
he didn't come to me at all, but
no,
I did make him want to get married.
He did. He did make me want to get married. I had very nearly done it when I was like 18. Because I'm from a small town, and that's what people do there.
And almost 10 years later.
Yeah, and then I just actively, like, preached against it, and, like, to the point where all my friends were, like, surprised, you know? They're like, I don't get it, man. This isn't you. And I'm like, oh, no, this is, like, what I want to be. This is happy like this, you know? Anyway.
Aww.
Made the ring box, but you can tell that in the story, I guess. Spoiler alerts.
So, I have Sundays and Mondays off at the time that he proposed. So he says, hey, I know you've been wanting to go on more hikes lately. Let's go on a hike this Sunday. I'll pick it out. I said, okay. He goes,
well, we had talked about doing a harder hike, a longer hike. We had talked about it a little bit.
Well, hang on.
Okay, sorry. Not to interrupt. I'm just trying to give a full picture because I don't want to seem like an asshole.
He says to me, he said, it's going to be a harder hike. Is that okay? I said, yeah.
Boy, howdy was it.
He says, people on all trails are saying that they're bringing walking sticks. Like the little, is that what they're called?
Yeah, walking sticks. Like, basically like skiing poles that fold up. If you hike at all, you probably know what they are.
Yeah. So
imagine someone holding two sticks and walking.
You've probably seen it if you've been outside once or twice.
Yeah.
So he says, you know, people on all trails are recommending that you bring these. And I said, okay. And he goes, I have one pair, but you can use them. And I say,
for you, yeah.
Okay. And so we go. And we get out there. It's like an hour away from the house. So we get there, you know, we go to Burger King. We get a vegan friendly French toast sticks and hash browns. Like the hash brown little, what are they? Little discs?
Oh,
whatever they are. We had them.
I don't know.
Had this like, multi-thousand calorie breakfast. I had packed us a lunch. We went on this hike. We get there around like 9 in the morning, maybe 8. And we start. And it was fine at first. Well, hang on. It was fine at first. We stopped a couple times because someone, me, doesn't have a lot of stamina, endurance. That's something that I've been working on more so lately.
Well, you don't gotta defend yourself.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. It is what it is.
It's just us on the hike, and I'm okay with it. So.
It is what it is. So, we stop a couple of times, and then, we get to an outlook, and we're like 2 or 3 hours in at this point, and barely even halfway up the hike.
I think it was later than that, the outlook.
Oh, like 3/4 up? Maybe?
I want to say at least halfway. I could be wrong. I'm a little fuzzy on all those details. I can just remember the big ones.
Yeah. So we get there and we spend some good time there. I think that we nibble some grub. We look out. It's beautiful. We're by ourselves for the first time on this hike.
It was packed. It was crazy crowded. I guess this was during COVID too. So it was like we went out there to kind of escape, right? And the parking lot was full,
yeah.
and
we were masked up.
And there was so many people too, like just, not necessarily all right next to each other, but like we passed a lot of people. And it was a few months ago, so it was kind of early on when like stuff started getting serious here or whatever.
Yeah, it was in August of 2020. Yeah. So it was like right when like things kind of lifted and then got shut right back down.
Yeah.
So, or right before things got shut right back down.
Point being, there was quite a few people.
Tons of people there. I will say this. There is like a parking lot where probably 10 to 20 cars could fit. And there was parking on the road.
And there normally is, too, when we drive by. Because we've driven by the area since.
At like any time of the day.
Yeah, like if you go on a weekend, there's almost always cars that are parked on the side of the road. Because like the parking lot's full.
So... Anyway, this outlook was beautiful. We had a good time there. And then we packed up our bags, back from all of our food and water. And we started back up. And that's when it got scary. By the way, this is the Kings Mountain Hike in Tillamook, Oregon.
Yeah, Tillamook State Forest. It is.
Tillamook, Oregon. Sorry. Tillamook State Forest. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of in between Portland and Tillamook is where I'd say the forest hike lies. Because Tillamook's like on the coast. Anyway.
Sorry.
It is, yeah. That's where it's at.
So.
I thought it was gorgeous. It was. You say scary, but it was beautiful.
Hang on, because I haven't even gotten there in the story.
Okay.
I haven't even said how scary it was. We just start going up, and suddenly, as I'm walking up, the gravel and rocks underneath my feet push me back. And I'm watching trail runners go past us, and I'm watching
for
them
like the third time, dude.
Eat shit. I'm having to get on my Butte and scoot around. I'm having to get on my knees to climb up things. It's getting really difficult. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, this is what hard means.
Yeah. When All Trails says hard, All Trails fucking means it.
Well, and I'll just go ahead and say it like this. You and I went on Cedar Butte Trail in Tillamook, which was rated hard.
And it was not bad, I didn't think.
It was like a moderate at best. So
it was
honestly,
really short, though. It was only like 3 miles total.
It was super steep.
But only the last part, though. A lot of it was not
straight uphill.
Not a lot of it.
Like maybe a third of it wasn't. You have to like get to the.
I'd say.
You said semantics earlier. Yeah. I'm saying it doesn't matter.
It was rated hard is the point, and we had done it, and we're like, well, that wasn't really that bad.
I mean, it was like raining when we did it, so I had to have River.
Yeah,
pull
we
me
have
up
pictures of it, and
the
River. Yeah, River's like just wet. Looks like a wet rat basically at the top.
Yeah.
Anyway, we had some confidence going into this one.
We thought, oh, we've done a hard hike before, and this one was 5 miles out and back.
Yeah, you always call it a 5-mile hike, and I hate it because I'm like, no, it's like 10 miles.
See,
I think it was like 12.
So we get up to the top finally, and this is like, I am struggling. I haven't even hit my full emotional wall at this point.
But we're close.
We get up to the top. He's like, let's take a picture. I'm saying, yeah, let's do it. I get out my phone. I'm starting to take pictures of the view and the little box that says King Mountain Summit. And he's like, there's like a little bench over there. Those people are just sitting there.
Oh, yeah, dude. I was so butthurt. I was like, mother, I had a whole plan, dude.
Oh, my God. He's like, you know, we're waiting and we're hanging out and we're waiting. And like, I'm just sitting here being like, yo, it took us
Basically
literally
dead.
4.5 hours to get up this mountain. Burning daylight, you know what I mean? I'm like, I have zero patience for this at this point. Like, you know, out of all
totally over it.
Out of all the beautiful hikes I've been on, this was like not even top 5. It was super hard. I felt like jelly.
I
was like,
beautiful.
Fuck. Well, it was beautiful, but it wasn't like the most beautiful hike.
What are your... This is going to get you off topic, of course.
Can I finish the story first?
Well, I just want to know what
This
your
is what
top
marriage
5...
is gonna be like.
Yeah, I want to know your... Yeah. What's marriage like?
Okay. So...
I want to know your top 5 most beautiful hikes. I imagine that waterfall one we just did has got to be up there, because that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
That was like 7 waterfalls, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a loop with 7 waterfalls. Also in Oregon, in Silver Falls State Park.
Yeah.
It's called like this. Was it the Silver Falls Trail or is it something
Yeah.
else? Yeah.
Silver Falls Trail.
What else?
I'm trying to think.
See what I mean? I'm like, I don't know, dude. We've done a lot of hikes. I thought the view at Kings Mountain was pretty nice.
Well, you and I were both at the top of the mountain, and both of us said, the lookout had a better view.
We did say that, but we were also by ourselves at the lookout. We were like off. To get to the lookout, you go a little off trail and you go out on like a little mini ridge basically to like a rock. So you're like, there's like a tree line between you and the trail. You're by yourself and you can just kind of take it in. We like couldn't even sit on this bench because there was people and people kept coming up because it was so packed. So it was just like, well, shit, this isn't even, you know.
So he asked me at some point, he's like, should we wait? Should we just wait for our turn? And I say, no, let's just go.
Yeah. Honestly, right call, because it was a journey to get back to the car, so.
Oh my God. I have this, so I'm risk adverse. And so when things are super difficult or dangerous, or I perceive them to be super difficult or dangerous, I usually throw up my hands and I say, I can't do it. Yeah. And I freak out and...
very cautious. That's how I describe it. Very cautious.
To all of his friends.
The thing is, I'm the opposite. I'm like, how close to death can I get?
I want a motorcycle. I want a base jump. I want a parachute.
I jumped off a bridge with a parachute. That it felt like ding dong ditching Satan is how Bodhi described it. And I could not agree more, dude. You got to be like 50% lucky to survive that shit. You know? So anyway, I'm very... It's not that I'm like not cautious. Like I try to do things safely. I like the adrenaline.
You're an adrenaline junkie. That's what they call that.
I guess. I wouldn't call myself a junkie. You're cautious.
Anyway, back to the story at hand here.
Yeah, you being cautious on this hike.
So I'm using the little poles. I'm
walking
trying.
Sticks.
And it's like getting to the gravel part. And by the way,
because the gravel was at the top and it was the steepest part of the hike.
Oh my God.
That's important to say, I think.
And it was dry. Like it was dusty. It was so dry.
Late summer, so it hasn't been raining. It's super dry. And then it was at the steepest part at the highest part of the mountain, you know.
Well, the highest part of the mountain was grass.
Okay, so like the very tippy top, but it was all gravel to get there. It is at the top.
For like 2 miles, it's just gravel, and it's like you have to basically walk at an angle.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're not talking like,
faceplant.
oh, it was steep and it was hard. We're talking like it was so steep you had to like touch it with your hands. Like it was steep.
So I'm getting to that.
It was steep.
So at a certain point, several points, because there's parts where on the way up you had to kind of just like maneuver your body in such a way, like you could take like one big step up, you know what I mean?
In such a way.
If you were so inclined. But me, being a scaredy cat, was like, oh no, I climbed up it. I felt like a badass on the way up, but on the way down I was like, ooh, I gotta get on my booty. Yeah. Meanwhile, if I just got over to the side a little bit, trail runners would just run past me. And I'm sitting there going, excuse me, why do you hate yourself so much? That's kind of how I felt about it anyway. And several points of the gravel part of the hike, I got on my bum and slid down the gravel because it was too much for me.
Couldn't handle the heat.
And I made eye contact with Reese over here, and I cried.
She did cry.
More than once.
Yeah. She was like almost full on panicking.
I was scared.
Yeah. It was like the fear of God. It wasn't like, I don't know. It was genuine fear. It wasn't like I'm doing this to be dramatic or like I'm just not having, it was like genuine, like this shit's not fun. I'm scared.
At least a fifth of that fear was placed in the fact that trail runners and other hikers were passing us constantly, and I'm just sitting there scared, booty shoving down the gravel, and they're just like eating shit. I mean, honestly,
not all of them.
Well, a lot of them.
You make it sound like
shit.
Everyone ate shit.
Let me tell you this. One trail runner ran past us 3 or 4 times.
Yeah. We
saw them on one of the parts where like you kind of have to climb up. They jumped down, fell on their knees, said, "Oh fuck!" and then kept going.
I forgot about that, but that did happen. He did. He totally ate shit. Yeah. That jogged my memory.
If you are a trail runner, like, what's your secret? Are you insane? Are you just insane?
I was impressed at the time. I was like really into the whole running. And I was like, oh, mountain races. That's like, they must be doing those long ass mountain races. Cause one dude, legit, it's a 10-mile trip and he did it like 3 or 4 times. So that's like 30, 40 miles, which is longer than a marathon. And he was just doing it like on a Saturday. Like it was fun. And I was like I was blown away, honestly.
And he wasn't the only one.
Yeah, no, we passed a few of them. And I'm like, I consider myself somewhat tough, and like I got through the hike or whatever, and I was fine. But like, I'm not gonna say it wasn't difficult because that shit was pretty gnarly. Like,
oh my gosh,
it was pretty gnarly.
So anyway, we get off of the gravel, and Reese and I are basically on a forward march back to the car. We're just face down. We went internal, as he would call it.
Well, you went internal, I think, and I was like, let's get home.
So, by the way, going internal is what he calls, like, he goes on a hike and he just, like, looks down and just, like, goes ahead.
It's like
just walks really fast.
It's a military phrase is what it is. That's where it comes from. The military is like, dudes will go internal. So, like, in the Marine Corps and shit, there's forced marches and people will... We call it going internal. It's basically like where you mentally check out. It's like turning off your brain.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it's like a weakness. Like dudes will do it because they just like can't handle what's happening, you know? But every once in a while it can be a strength. Cause like some shit is just really tough. And it's like you gotta just like go deep within inside yourself and just be like, I'm just gonna fucking suffer through this. You know what I'm saying?
I hope that everyone can hear Hazel laughing up water.
I can hear it.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
That's our dog. He's out.
Hazel. Yeah.
Jeez.
So she went internal. I definitely started to go like more like let's just get home mode. Stop looking at pretty views and plants and shit and all that.
Which is normally my MO when we're hiking. I stop every 30 seconds and I'm like, oh, look at this plant. Oh, look at this field. Oh, there's water there. I get pretty pumped on nature. You know?
Beyond all of that at this point. Yeah.
So we're going and I'm just like trudging through and Reese says, hey, you want to stop and have some water or take a break?
No, I didn't say nothing, I don't think, did I?
Yeah,
I did. Break. I set it up a little bit, I think.
And I said, yeah, sure.
just like over it, just fucking angry.
I think I had already said, like,
why'd you pick this fucking
Yeah. I was like, why'd you pick this? This isn't worth it. This is way too hard for what it is. Like, I'd understand if it was like a prettier view. I was like pretty fucking mean.
Cranky, yeah, for sure.
Oh, I was upset. I was scared. I had been crying in public.
In total, we were there for like 9 hours, so it was like an adventure. It's like an exhausting day out.
Like, we'll do an 8-mile hike, and it'll take us about 4 hours stopping. Like, we'll stop and have, well, maybe like
is that like a subtle humble brag there, or are you just letting people know how long it takes us to walk places?
That's stopping all the time, and then also probably a lunch break. Like, we're
chill when we hike.
Yeah.
We're not. I was really bad about this when we met. Like, let's fucking point A, point B. Let's fucking get there and get home. Like, I was just so used to doing it for like work and stuff. Like, I was just over it, you know. Yeah. It wasn't like a fun hobby for me at the time when we met.
And for me it was. So.
Since then, I'd say we've come a far way we've come to a very good balancing point of like, take your time leisurely, still accomplish it, you know, like within a reasonable amount of time. So it's not a 9-hour trip or whatever.
So, you know, we can get through, like, we did Silver Falls. We did that. We did 8 miles. We did the 8-mile loop. And that was about 5 hours. Well, while he does that, I'll just continue to tell you about the actual apex of our story. The climax, if you will. So, we stop. I put my bag on I'm like flopping my bag on the ground. I open it up. I grab my water. I take a couple slugs out of it. I'm just kind of exhausted. Mentally, physically, emotionally exhausted. What? Do you want a drink or are you good? I'm good. Thank you, babe. He just offered me a drink. Thank you. So, you know, he goes, I bet you're wondering why I asked you to come on this really hard hike. No, wait, hold on. Let me rephrase. He talks about like how much he thinks that we bring out the best in each other. He says, this hike is a lot like our relationship. And I'm internal. Like we said, I was just completely just focused on getting back to the car and going home. Just totally over it. Done with it, in fact. I hate that hike. And he's like, this hike reflects us as a couple. We have done so many hard things together, and our support for each other has helped us get through it. Right? That's what you said about? He shrugged. Something like that. Well,
but yeah, it was about us complimenting each other.
Yeah, we bring out the best in each other. We help each other do hard things.
I've talked about how I used to hike with my head down, and you helped me slow down, and I helped you do this 10-mile hike that you never would have thought you could do.
I barely heard any of this, if I'm being for real. I was totally, I felt some type of way. And then he says, I bet you are wondering why I wanted to take you on this really hard hike. And I said, yeah, well, I started to say, yeah, I am wondering why you decided to take me on this hard hike. And he goes, no love for me. Because I wanted to ask you to marry me. And I turn around, because I wasn't facing him this entire time. I turn around and he's on one knee and he has a handmade ring box in his hand and a ring in the other one. And I look at him and I don't say anything. I don't say anything. I just look at him and I say, what? And he goes, you can say yes. And so I said yes. He's being a good dad right now. He let the puppies go outside to go potty, and just the one because she was crying, and then he just gave them a little jerky treat. So yeah, that's the story of our engagement.
Yeah.
And
the
now
long rambling, distracted version of it, but yeah, that's the gist of it, I would say. And
then so we'll get married almost a year, just shy of like 2 weeks, I think,
of the engagement,
which is, I think, a nice amount of time to be engaged.
I've had a great time, and honestly, it's hard to plan a wedding with COVID and with school, and like you just wrapped up school. I was in school.
We're really lucky because my parents basically,
they took over, dude. Old Dale, the wedding planner.
I love my parents.
That's why I appreciate your dad. Yeah, I don't know, legitimately though.
I was looking,
so helpful.
Because like you said, it's so hard to plan a wedding during COVID. So I was looking for something affordable. Because wedding venues, they're like $5,000 plus over here. So I was like,
really anywhere, any good one is insane.
Well,
it's a racket, dude. If you're gonna get married, I don't know, burn down all the wedding venues first, or do something to make it cheaper, because it's insane, dude. They're like scamming people. It'd
be more expensive if you burn down all the wedding venues.
Oh, yeah, well, that wasn't a good idea, but like
supply and demand.
Think of your own
economics.
idea. Yeah,
I'm a college graduate now.
Think of your own idea. Figure out a way to do it cheaper, because like it is such a scam, I feel, and it totally detracts from like the whole point of the wedding.
So I had a really hard time pulling the trigger on something that was more expensive than I thought that we should spend. So what we had done is like we had figured, okay, well, I will make the wedding invitations on Canva or something similar. One of our best friends will take our pictures, which him and his wife are gonna take them.
And I'll say this too, amazing pictures Bodie takes. That's his name.
He's going to take them on film, and then his wife, Jen, is going to be taking them in digital. It's going to be...
Hopefully someone's seen Point Break. And they'll be like, oh, Bodie?
Anyway.
Anyway, we've done all we can to like kind of make it more affordable.
My cousin is going to marry us. He's going to be the officiant.
Well, and honestly,
wow, English.
The whole thing is shaping up to be a dream of a wedding, I think. It's been difficult, but we're getting
my
there.
point is that we had all of these different things like fleshed out, because if anyone's been married recently, they know that getting pictures is usually the second biggest expense next to either the venue or the outfit
or the catering. It's all expensive. That's what I'm saying.
Well, it just depends on what you do, because some people do like barbecues or like whatever.
Anything that you get catered, though. We looked at catering.
Well, some people don't get catering.
What I'm saying is anyone that does catering, is hugely expensive. We looked at catering.
Are they?
Yeah, it's crazy. We looked at it.
So
I looked at it with you.
I looked at it first.
That's true. You're the planner. I was like, fuck it, let's elope.
So let's just go ahead and put this in astrological terms here. I'm a Virgo and he's a Libra.
So that made sense to what, like
5% of the population.
I was gonna say like the gay community and then white women. Like what?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Anyway, I am super organized. I like plan. I like structure. He is more like, it'll happen.
Yeah. And look at it. It's happening.
It's happening.
Yeah, exactly.
My parents graciously, after I came to them,
basically
probably
falling apart.
the 10th time falling apart, just like, oh, everything's so expensive. They're like, you know what? I finally asked. And like, this is the moral of the story here is if you want something, you need to ask for it.
No ask, no get.
Yeah.
That's what we say.
That's our household saying.
It's so fucking true though. Squeaky
really
wheel
is.
gets the oil. Like if you can't ask for what you want, no
You'll
one's
never
gonna
get it.
give it to you.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I finally was just like, I need help. I want help. I need help. Can you help me? And my mom's like, I'll put your dad on it. And my dad, legit, he found us a venue for our reception and our ceremony. He found, like, he got catering for us. You know, my parents, you know, they're really doing more than I am. You know, I'm doing, like, you know, we both got our outfits together. We're both, like, adding to, you know, we want certain people to be there, so we're doing guest list.
Yeah.
But, I mean, ultimately, really lucky.
Oh, yeah, no. And this is part of why I love your dad so much. I'm like, oh, he's great. Like, literally the most helpful. He's like, you shouldn't be stressed about it.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. And he, honestly, I think he just enjoys it. He enjoys taking care of you. And I think, honestly, part of me wants to say he enjoys taking care of me. I don't know if that's true. I don't want to speak for him. He could hate me for all I know. One time, I thought he was going to murder me. There's no telling, really. I think he enjoys it. And I think that he is happy to do it. And he also really gets off on, like, the nerdiness of, like, oh, I'm going to, like, Google Maps into this venue and look at it from Street View and look at their website. And he's like, this venue's shitty because it's in this shitty town. The venue looks great, but the town is trash. And there's nowhere for people to stay. And, like,
he literally was
he, like, gets into it.
The photographers obviously did a great job.
Yeah. He, like, gets into it. And he's also super, super smart. So he's
like, an engineer.
He's,
so
like, very critical about everything.
Oh, my gosh. So I was like, I need help. My mom told him, and he was like, okay, I'm going to make a spreadsheet.
Yeah. Come here.
And, like, Excel is super cool if, like, you know how to use it. My dad knows how to use it. So anyway, enough about my dad. My dad's amazing.
He took over. Our wedding planner is Dale Tribe. You can Google him if you want.
That's my daddy.
Yeah. He's, I'd say, better at it than most, honestly.
I mean, you know.
You need your wedding plan? Hit up old Dale Tribe.
But don't, because he will
hit us
literally kill us for even saying his name in public. He'll be
Would
like,
he?
What?
He watches
private.
YouTube all the time.
Well, I don't know.
You think he'd be like, oh my God, I'm on YouTube? I think he'd be psyched.
Maybe.
I don't know.
He's a very private guy.
I mean, honestly, I couldn't call it.
Tribe's a very uncommon last name.
What, are you worried people are actually going to, like, look him up or something and be like, I'm getting my wedding planned? Because, man, if you do, why would you listen to two strangers on the internet, first of all? Second of all, you're in for a treat because he's the best wedding planner I've ever met.
His rate's really high, though.
Yeah, he'll charge you out the ass for sure. He's like a professional, you know what I'm saying? So you got to pay that professional price.
Professional problem solver.
Yeah, so.
Okay, so anyway, but that's the story of us.
That's the story of us. We were going to talk about marriage, even though we're not married yet. But I think we've probably I think the recapping of the relationship was probably enough.
So we'll probably talk about marriage the next episode.
Well, I don't know about probably. We might talk about something else.
Well,
we might talk about pets.
We'll talk about marriage eventually.
We'll talk about whatever we feel like talking about on Friday night. This is like our date night, so it's kind of up to us. We're kind of in charge.
This is the truth.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and just sign off.
Yeah, sure.
Because Hazel needs to use the potty.
I literally just let her out. That's why
I know, but she probably wants company.
I don't know, maybe. I wasn't shaking my head at you though. I was like looking at her like, shut your mouth, dude. We were just out there. We were just outside, dude.
So,
anyway.
Okay. You can find us on Instagram. There goes a gauge.
Yeah, just ignore that.
All right.
Just falling apart over here, dude. My body's like, I quit.
So we have an Instagram together. It is at the Rhineharts blog.
Oh, I would, yeah.
There's nothing on there yet.
Yeah, I wouldn't even mention that.
Well, I'll probably start posting on there at some point, especially, with all this. And then we both have personal Instagrams, although you don't use yours.
Yeah, we don't both have personal Instagrams. You have one and I have an existing account that I literally never use.
And then I have one for
No, I would just say we got YouTube and we got Spotify. And if you want to listen to a podcast, this is us talking to each other, and that's where you can find us.
Well, I'm trying to plug myself, but if you insist.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can plug yourself if you want, by all means.
All right.
I didn't mean to cut you off like that. I didn't realize that's what you were doing. You just brought up, like, my Instagram. I'm like, no, don't send people there.
My Instagram is, and you're like, don't tell them that. We have.
Well, you mentioned you were like, we both have personal ones, and I was like, yeah,
I'm just gonna keep going.
Not really.
It doesn't matter. What matters is that we have an existing Instagram called at the Rhineharts blog. We have an existing blog called the Rhineharts.
I don't know for sure that we do. I'll have to double check on that.
It might not be published. We talked about it.
Yeah,
neither one of us
double check.
Has a lot of time for it, but perhaps we might post to it more in the future.
Probably not.
I have an Instagram you can follow that will probably have all of the updates for these podcasts. It's going to be called Ash _catch like OM. And then, if you follow it, you'll also see some like mindfulness and other posts.
Well, you might as well talk about it now. You brought it up. What is it? Explain it.
I have a spirituality yoga Instagram.
Yeah.
Because that's who I am. So
that's what you want to do or whatever,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
might as well explain it though,
But I will definitely post about the podcast on there. And then if you want to find us on YouTube, just search Conversations with the Rhineharts, and then Spotify also Conversations with the Rhineharts.
I'd say those are the two big ones. Spotify and YouTube, and we're working on getting us on some other podcast platforms. So like Apple Podcast and stuff.
I think this is like the third or fourth podcast we've ever made together, so
yeah.
We're doing
a new style where we just videotape it and we just record it and we like hardly edit it at all because editing is hard and like some of this shit's probably fun. I don't know. We think some thoughts, probably some other people in the world think some thoughts,
Yeah. So, I mean,
it's more fun this way.
Yeah. Tease what to tease.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, so
thanks for listening, I guess. Yeah. If you have listened to this.
Well, if you're still here, you have listened.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
And you've watched it, maybe.
Yeah, so sorry that you had to put up with this.
I'm not sorry at all. You chose to be here.
Yeah.
Love you, everyone. Thank you so much for being with us, and having family time with us,
Yeah.
experiencing our date night with us,
Yeah.
listening to our dogs cry and bark with us.
No, for real. Thank you. I don't know. It's nice.
It's nice to have the company.
Yeah.
So
Nice for us too.
Yeah.
Get some quality time.
yeah. Okay.
All right.
Until next time.
Yeah. Bye, everyone.
Peace.